Most people lose more money in a stock market crash by trying to escape it than by staying put. That single decision, panic selling when prices fall, has cost ordinary investors an average of about $114,000 in lost lifetime returns, according to research from Dalbar. And the painful part? The market was never the problem. The investor's own reaction was. Here's what almost nobody tells you. The crash itself is rarely what destroys a portfolio. It's what you do in the 72 hours after the crash starts. Stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what history says you should do when the market is falling apart, and how an investor who did absolutely nothing during some of the worst crashes in modern history turned $10,000 into over $180,000, not by being lucky, by knowing one rule. Here's the part most financial content skips. Your brain is genuinely working against you during a crash, and understanding that changes everything. Researchers call it loss aversion. Studies by psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky found that the pain of losing $1,000 feels about twice as intense as the pleasure of gaining $1,000. So when your $20,000 portfolio drops to $14,000 in 2 weeks, your brain is not processing a 30% paper loss. It's screaming at you like you just lost something irreplaceable. That feeling is real. But the decision it pushes you toward, selling, is one of the most expensive financial mistakes you can make. And the media makes it worse. Every major crash comes with headlines about the worst day since 1987, or trillions wiped out. That language is technically accurate, but it's also perfectly designed to trigger exactly the fear response that causes people to sell at the bottom. So before we talk strategy, just know this. If you feel the urge to sell everything during a crash, you're not stupid, you're human. But there is a better path, and the data behind it is overwhelming. This is where the numbers get genuinely surprising. And they should settle your nerves for good. Since 1950, the S&P 500, that's the index tracking America's 500 largest companies, has experienced a drop of 10% or more about once every 16 months on average. A drop of 20% or more, what's formally called a bear market, happens roughly every 3 to 4 years. These aren't rare disasters. They are a completely normal part of how markets work. Now here's the payoff. Every single one of those crashes eventually recovered. Everyone. The dot-com crash of 2000 to 2002 wiped out nearly 50% of the S&P 500's value. It recovered. The 2008 financial crisis cut the market roughly in half. It recovered. And then went on to one of the longest bull runs in history. The COVID crash in March 2020 dropped the market about 34% in 33 days. It fully recovered in just 5 months. If you had invested $10,000 in an S&P 500 index fund in January 2000 and held through all of those crashes without touching it, you'd have roughly $60,000 today, based on historical average returns. That's not spectacular financial genius. That's patience. But if you had sold during just the 5 worst market drops and missed the recoveries, your $10,000 would be worth closer to $18,000. Same market. Completely different outcome. The only difference was one bad decision made 5 times. Here's the rule, and it sounds almost too simple. Don't sell. But let's make it concrete, because stay the course is advice people ignore when they're scared, and it needs to be backed by a real reason. When you sell during a crash, you do 2 damaging things at once. First, you lock in a loss that was previously only on paper. If your portfolio dropped 30% and you sell, that loss is now permanent. Second, and this is the one almost nobody talks about, you almost certainly miss the recovery. Here's why that matters so much. The best days in the stock market tend to cluster right around the worst days. JP Morgan did an analysis showing that 7 of the 10 best single days in the market over a 20-year period happened within 2 weeks of the 10 worst days. That means if you sell to wait for things to calm down, you will likely be sitting on the sidelines in cash on the exact days the market bounces back hardest. Let's put a number on it. If you invested $10,000 in the S&P 500 in January 2003 and left it alone for 20 years, you'd have roughly $64,000 by 2023, based on historical returns. If you missed just the 10 best trading days during that period, you'd have around $29,000. Miss the 20 best days and you're down to about $16,000. From $64,000 to $16,000, Not because the market failed you, but because you stepped out at the wrong moment. Now that we've covered what not to do, here's the part that genuinely moves the needle. There are 4 concrete actions that hold up every time the market falls. First, do nothing with your existing investments. Seriously. Log out of your brokerage account, whether that's Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab, or anywhere else, and do not touch your positions. Every impulse you have to just check will feed the anxiety that leads to a bad trade. Second, keep contributing. If you have automatic contributions going into a 401k or a Roth IRA, do not stop them. This is called dollar cost averaging. When the market is down, your regular contribution buys more shares at lower prices. You are essentially shopping for stocks on sale. The investor who kept investing $300 a month through the 2008 crash bought S&P 500 shares at prices they wouldn't see again for years. Third, rebalance, if you already have a plan. If your target allocation was 80% stocks and 20% bonds, and the crash has pushed you to 70% stocks, the mathematically correct move is actually to buy more stocks to get back to 80%. The exact opposite of what fear is telling you to do. A financial advisor or your 401k provider can walk you through that process. Fourth, check your emergency fund. If you have 3 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account, that money is FDIC insured, meaning it's protected up to $250,000 regardless of what the stock market does. A solid emergency fund is what lets you hold your investments through a crash without being forced to sell because you need cash. Here's the uncomfortable exception, because staying put is not the right answer for everyone, and I want to be honest about that. The do-nothing strategy works best when you have time on your side. If you're 30 years old and your retirement is 35 years away, a 40% crash is genuinely an opportunity. The market has historically averaged around 10% per year over long periods, and you have plenty of runway to recover and grow. But if you're 62 and planning to retire in 3 years, the math is different. You don't have 35 years to wait. This is exactly why financial advisors recommend shifting a portion of your portfolio from stocks into more stable assets, like bonds or money market funds, as you approach retirement. It's not about fear. It's about matching your investment timeline to your actual risk tolerance. If a market crash is keeping you up at night, that's important information. It might mean your portfolio is riskier than you're actually comfortable with. Not in theory, but in practice. A simple target date fund, which is a fund that automatically adjusts its mix of stocks and bonds based on when you plan to retire, is one of the most straightforward ways to manage this without having to think about it every day. This is the reframe that most people never get, and it's worth sitting with for a moment. A stock market crash is not a signal that the economy is broken forever. It is a signal that prices have dropped, and lower prices on productive assets, meaning shares of real companies that make real products and employ real people, is actually a good thing for a long-term investor. The asset got cheaper. You still own the same piece of those companies. Think about it this way. If your favorite grocery store put everything on sale by 30%, you would not stop shopping there. You would buy more. The stock market works the same way, except panic makes people do the opposite. They stop buying right when things are cheapest and rush back in once prices have already recovered. That behavioral gap is what separates long-term wealth builders from people who never seem to get ahead financially. Warren Buffett, whose own net worth has survived more crashes than most people have had jobs, put it simply, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. That's not a clever quote. It is a literal instruction about what to do when the market is falling. Let's bring it all together. When the stock market crashes, here's exactly what the evidence says to do. Do not sell. Selling locks in losses, and almost guarantees you'll miss the recovery. Keep your automatic contributions running. You are buying more shares at lower prices. Make sure your emergency fund is fully funded in an FDIC-insured account, so you're never forced to sell investments to cover a life expense. And if you're within 10 years of retirement, use a crash as a signal to review whether your allocation still matches your actual timeline, not your optimistic one. The one number to hold on to: investors who stay fully invested in the S&P 500 historically earn around 10% per year over the long run. Investors who try to time the market consistently earn far less, because they keep missing those critical recovery days. Crashes feel permanent when you're in them. They never have been. Every single one in modern history has been followed by a recovery and a new high. Your only job during a crash is to not become the person who sells at the bottom. Now that you understand how to survive a crash, the thing that quietly undoes all of it is inflation slowly eating your cash savings while you feel safe. Watch that video next. It shows you exactly how much a regular savings account is costing you every year. If this helped you think more clearly about your money, subscribe to Plain Money and hit like. It genuinely helps more people find this content. And drop a comment below. What's your go-to move when the market starts dropping? I read every single one.